also became a biblical and theological student, receiving my education from a famous private Christian university. Early in my academic career, I began to realize that the Bible we're holding in our hands today contains innumerable errors and historical inaccuracies. But despite its unreliability, I was charged to submit my scholarly work as though its claims were true. And above all, question nothing. But it was too late. I had been trained to question everything, and for the first time in my life, the facts that I learned about the Bible called into question everything I previously believed to be true, based on what others had told me. My life was plunged into chaos. Everything turned upside down. Everything I believed about God and myself was a lie. In a moment, everything was reversed. Was there anybody else out there like me? I got you, man. What do you believe in?
I believe in water.
Some people would rather just not talk about it.
Do you think we should talk about these issues?
I definitely think so, because you need to be able to educate and express your opinions, and by doing so, you're able to learn what other people think and maybe question what your own beliefs are.
Sometimes people, when they know you're not in the same idea with them, it's hard for them even to listen to you.
Nobody else is going to go to heaven. We can't. And they also said no music. Went to Church of God, and they were talking about doctrine. They're like, yeah, so everybody goes to heaven, and they play music.
There's a big debate that happens afterwards.
It's crowded around people, yeah, sure, but if it's friends, no, because friends have different opinions, and I just don't think it's a good idea. Arguments happen.
The wind is making my eyes water. Is that okay right now?
Yes.
What's up, everybody? Arael here with Fully Deconverted. And last time on the show, we had the Cellar Door Skeptics, and we had the Non Sequitur show, Kyle Curtis, before that. But today, finally, we get to introduce you to some of the team members behind Fully Deconverted, and with that, let's head over to them. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
All right, so in our audience, we are still waiting on one more person. We're waiting on Nick. You can't see him right there. He's going to appear where my lower thirds right there is. So when he gets on, I'll take that away. But for our audience, who you're looking at right now is our operations officer, Kevin. Kevin, say hi.
Hello, Arael. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, and then to his side is Leslie, our administrative officer. Say what's up, Leslie.
Hey, what's up?
And then below them is our editor, Luann. What's up, Luann?
Hey, everybody.
And below me is going to be Nick, our marketing director. And that's us. I'm going to be checking on him to see if I can help him out at any time. But here we are, everybody. So we are just chatting as a team for everybody to be able to see and get to know us, and just hear us chat and talk for a bit. So with that said, maybe
I just got one thing to say, Arael.
Yeah, go for it.
I was waiting to see the what was that video? The Deadpool clip that you usually Where was it?
Yeah, I mean, I took it out. I figured I'd change it up a little bit. Actually, I didn't mean to put 3 videos in the very beginning. That was a little bit longer than what I wanted. But no, that's a fun video, man. Like,
I'll just say you're a brave man.
Luann, did you see the video? I know you saw the video.
That intro that you just played.
I mean, the one where I dressed up as Deadpool. Did you see that?
Oh no! I saw the Spider-Man.
You gotta play it. You have to play it. You have to.
I should totally play it then. I'll have to bring it I'll have to bring it in here.
Well, don't forget, play it.
All right, hold on. Let me go. Let me go over here. Let me check on Facebook real quick. All right. Nick might be changing out some of his hardware or anything like that. I advise him. Sometimes you just have these like hardware. It's either a hardware or software issue, basically. But we're trying to get Nick on right now, so I'm looking. I know he's seen my stuff, so hopefully it will come through. Maybe he'll change something out, reset his computer or something like. I don't know, whatever. Kevin, aren't you an IT guy? Help Nick out. Throw him a bone.
I told him to try Firefox instead of Chrome. Maybe that'll help, you know.
I imagine at some point it's just going to become so frustrating. Like everybody's telling me to change my browser and change my everything.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
We're all just troubleshooting here. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right.
Did we get a hold of Jack?
He didn't respond back in the group chat that we're all on.
Yeah, okay. This was thrown together, what, like an hour ago or something?
Yeah.
We were on the road from Southern California, so we just got home.
All right. Well, yeah, that was me too, rushing through everything. Why don't we do this? I'm going to pull up this video and put it in our feed right here and queue it up. And maybe you guys just say a little bit about yourselves so our audience can become familiar with you, like an elevator pitch of who you are, why, and how long you've been with Fully Deconverted, what you think about Fully Deconverted, what you want Fully Deconverted to offer it, and everybody in the audience, just so it can be said by me, since I come on the live shows from our YouTube channel. Everybody that you're looking at right now, as well as a few other people, have a share in Fully Deconverted, the image that it is, the material and content that we bring forth to the public space. Everything that you see and hear and just momentum for Fully Deconverted comes from the people that you see here and other people that you can't see or won't be joining us today. So over to you, Kevin. Take it away, man. Say something about yourself.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I think I've been with Fully Deconverted since, when was it? Like May?
Maybe like a month or two after it.
Yeah, about a couple of months after you started it, Arael. And the funny thing about it is when I don't think you had like 50 subscribers or whatever when we joined. And when I wasn't quite there yet to engage. Yeah, she showed it to me. But I saw.
Also, check this guy out.
Right? Yeah.
Like, oh.
So I'll say, I've deconverted, I think, maybe in the last 2 years or whatever. But I've been moving away from organized religion for the past 5 years. So I saw this group that Leslie turned me on to. And I like the idea of theists and atheists, being able to converse, right? And our passion is to, at least my passion is to help others not waste 50 years in Christianity like I wasted 50 years. So I'll say I wasted it. And I would say regret it, but I want to take the rest of my life and help those that need somebody to run ideas off of, because they may be struggling themselves. So what I saw here was a vehicle to do that. And I loved your approach in how you did that and how you deal with people. And it just spoke to me. So I love Fully Deconverted, and I see it going in any number of directions. But I see kind of unlimited growth of Fully Deconverted.
Yeah, same here. All right, cool. Leslie.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to find out when we joined, because I really don't remember, and now it seems like it's just been a while. I don't know, we just clicked somehow, and here we are, and we're part of this family. So it's really cool. But I remember specifically the day I showed Kevin your video, and I kind of commented on it, and you commented back to me, and anyway. But yeah, here we've been looking for some kind of community to be real with, because I had been questioning things for literally like 10 years, thinking, oh, maybe we're just doing Christianity wrong.
Yeah.
Like, what does God really want? How can we really help people and support people and love on people? That was kind of my vision. And then when I discovered God's not really all that loving, I was like, oh, whoops, wait a minute. Those aren't really the morals I want. Those aren't really the people I want to hang out with. Is someone like God who would, give people one chance, and if they don't, it's his way or the highway, and the hell way really is what it is. His way or the hell way.
Yeah, that's a really hard thing for people to see. That is, Because when you're in it, you're like, yeah, sure, there are some things that I disagree with. Like if you're a child and your parent spanks you or something like that, because I got spanked when I was a kid. It's like you just somehow accept that the bad comes with the good. But for God, it's unimaginable. But it's very hard to get to the point where you can say that in protest.
Right.
I thought it was just the followers who were choosing to do, bad. Meaning, like, I knew plenty of Christians that weren't that nice people. So they weren't all that nice. And like I've said my whole life, hey, there are nice priests, there are nice garbage collectors, there are nice, maybe I can't say politicians, but, pick a people group, and there are good ones and bad ones, right? But I was like, gosh, why are Christians no different? Inside those four walls, same people, same odds as people anywhere in any other group. I thought, what are we doing wrong? And then when I discovered, when I really started studying parts of the Bible, like on homosexuality, or like for us, we were going through divorces, and we're like, how can we do that? And we started studying, the original terms and all this kind of stuff. It was like, oh, just let us right out the door.
Yeah, study did lead us right out the door.
So instead of finding a group that we could join with, for to get togethers and stuff like that, like a home group type of thing, we just stayed by ourselves and obsessively watched YouTube videos and things, and we're like, whoa, this is like, I said it was like being born again.
Yeah.
To me, it was like being born again. Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and I love this group because it's like everything's happening organically, which we love. And it's like, we've got the member stories, we've got the Facebook group, we've got the YouTube, we've got the chat between the members, the video chat, we've got the interviews. It's just so cool because we would have loved a group like this when we were studying our way out of Christianity.
And the articles too. Luann, you're doing a great job with James Exline and Zach, and I think who else is going to be
I don't know. I can't wait to read the new one because he said he wrote a new one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll wait for that once we get that person published. And speaking of all that, so Luann, down to you. You are our editor. What's up? Tell us about yourself.
Hey. I hope this is all working okay because my picture on my phone is like a millimeter square, so I can't see anything.
Crystal clear.
Yeah, you look good.
Okay. All right. I'll take that. Thank you. I think I joined Fully Deconverted in April of this year. And I say disenfranchising dogma since April of 2018. That's awesome. I love that theme. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But my deconversion process was probably a little different than some because I've been backing away from Christianity little by little for so long, so it was like a gradual thing for me. I went from a real fundamentalist Baptist background and then to kind of a Presbyterian, which was a little easier, and then to a non-denominational, and then to a Episcopal church, which was like what they say Catholic light, and very liberal. And from there, I went to a out into kind of the New Age and occult scene, and
I've always got that impression from you, anyways, Luann. I've you strike me as like, I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, but I'm like, man, you live close to me, like close enough to me, and every interaction I've had with you, or just your pictures, or maybe a little bit of what you said about, I'm like, yeah, I can see the liberal or new agey, or at least you remind me of that. You might look like somebody else. What's that, Leslie?
You can see her aura. You can see her aura.
Yeah.
What color's her aura, Arael?
What color is her aura? Anyways, we're still trying to get Nick on here.
Yeah, he's struggling.
Nick, what I can do if you're watching this right now, man, let me see if I'll resend the link for Nick again. Resend.
While you're doing that, you were talking about the articles. And I just really want to shout out to our writers. We have had some really good articles posted by some really good writers and some people who think deeply, you know?
Right?
Yeah, I'm
and I think we have
really
a new,
thrilled by that.
Yeah. I think we have a new writer coming on board soon, right? I don't know if I want to say a name yet.
I'm hoping so. I think he's had maybe a few health issues and maybe some, been very busy lately. But also, I'm thinking of another one. I think there's 2 coming up possibly, so I'm hoping.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, might as well put it out right now. If anybody wants to join the Fully Deconverted team, you're welcome to go to fullydeconverted.com and get in touch with us anyway. And we'll see if there's a good fit there. So we are still, I think, ground floor, even though we got... So Fully Deconverted started off... How it started off was me creating a Facebook group for chat, because I came from a religious community where you couldn't really have these discussions and everybody was afraid to. And you know how it is when we're all in church and nobody wants to talk about the things, even though we think about it sometimes. And so I created that space just to be able to chat with people. Then I'm like, you know what? I do filmmaking. I'm already interviewing these people. I already did this documentary series. I'm going to launch my Arael series under the Fully Deconverted label and brand it that way and just go with it and see if I can create a community around this, at least of people that want to talk. So here we are. So Fully Deconverted launched essentially with Arael. I mean, as far as us coming to the community space with other activists and that sort of thing. And if nobody's picked up on it, I am definitely learning along the way. At the launch of the Arael series, I was freshly out. And there are other people on staff here, like Kevin and Leslie and then Luann that you've heard speak. Like, some of us are very, very public, and some of us still in our other communities maybe haven't come out as strongly as others. Right, Kevin? Like, you guys were or are still kind of negotiating your social space.
Well, okay, I'll tell you a little secret. So you and I had a little interview about, I don't know, back in July or August. Yeah. And I wasn't sure, I didn't know that was going to be live, right? But
wow.
So it's an hour-long interview, and it's on the channel, and I didn't realize that really until we actually recorded it, and then it was live on YouTube. And one of my old high school friends saw it and called me, right? I wanted to talk about, because he was a Christian. He wanted to reconvert me because he was concerned.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So up until that point, I didn't know that I was going public, man. But, I mean, it was good. I mean, I'm glad I did. But technically, we're still kind of not really out of the closet. I'm okay with just blasting it. But, we have family. Leslie has family.
Right.
We're still trying to navigate the closet opening.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, here we are doing another live show.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right.
Is it time?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Go in with the bang, about with the bang. Out of the closet with the bang, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Thanksgiving's coming up, guys.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'll be going to.
You'll have something to talk about. You'll have something to talk about around the table.
Yeah.
We don't have. Our family doesn't really get together. So, I mean, not really. His brother, but he told his brother.
Yeah, so. My family knows. My brother knows. He's a, tried and true evangelical. preacher type of a Christian guy,
wow.
YWAM missionary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my kids know, and
yeah, that's true. Your kids.
My older two kids are believers. So yeah,
I guess cool. I'm a little further out than I thought, because I thought, okay, my kids know, my two nieces, and that it.
We're a motley crew, aren't we? Like,
and my brother, who's now on Fully Deconverted.
We come from, you know, various backgrounds and stuff. We live all over the States. I'm on the East Coast. Leslie, Luann, and I are on the East Coast. We're practically holding hands over here. And you guys are holding down the West Coast. And then we got Nick in the middle. Nick, I'm going to try to connect with you again, man. And then Zek is over near Seattle. That's where I used to live. Zek and I could have, I mean, we were right across from what we could have looked across Puget Sound and seen each other, and like, you know, like
really
held up a light, and we would have been neighbors.
Wow.
That's my favorite place in the States, by the way, the Pacific Northwest. So Zach, I would love to see you again if I'm up there. He lives on, well, I'm not gonna say where he lives, but I know. I'll just leave it at that. But anyways, for our audience, we're all over the place. Hey guys, let's go over to our live chat and just welcome everybody and see what's going on over there. And bam, heading over here to the live chat. All right. Oh, Nick, I see you over here in the live chat. Okay, sorry I couldn't connect. We'll work it out next time. Nick, man, we will, man. I wanted you on here so bad, man. Yeah, Nick, you rock, man. Just to say this. For our audience out there, all the guests that we have on the show, they're basically strong-armed by Nick to come on. Nick will twist your arm until you get on this show. No, I'm sure it's like, I don't know how he does it, but he's the magic man. He's the guy that basically makes this show happen as far as the audience is concerned with other guests that come on. So Nick is the rock star out there. If there's a man behind the curtain, it is Nick when it comes to our guests coming on. So big shout out to Nick, man. I'm really sorry we couldn't get you on or it wasn't working.
I know.
What's going on, Jalen Love? Firechild, what's going on? BJ Price, so sweet. Fully Deconverted. Oh, that's us. Alias fake name. Gosh, man, I love it when I see you guys with really awesome names out there. What are you saying, Alias? I went to my godson's confirmation this afternoon. It was weird. Just kept my mouth shut. And that is a lot of us, but specifically what's unique to people who were once theists and now aren't theists are those awkward moments where you're questioning yourself. What is the best decorum at present? How do we act? What are the customs and courtesies that we observe as people who once practiced and maybe are expected to practice, but now have protested it in our own way, even if it's just said, you know what, I don't believe in that anymore, or if it took an activist stand, like joining a fully deconverted group or something like that, or doing your own thing, or, you know, whatever. Luann, what are some of those awkward moments for you, if you have any?
Oh man, I have many awkward moments. You know, I just mentioned Thanksgiving, so I'll go there first. Excuse me, but you know, my parents, I love my parents to death, and they are probably very disappointed in me, you know, because they're fundamental evangelical to fundamentalist Christians, and my dad was in Bible school and ordained and everything, you know, and of course he's very proud of his children, but you know, there are things that like Mr. Fake Name said, we just don't talk about, you know, it's sad because we just have this surface discussion all the time, and there are things that we just can't talk about, and we can't talk about our real feelings, you know? And to me, that's very sad.
Yeah. So, Luann, let me press that on you just a little bit. Why don't we Why don't we talk about those feelings? Is it because we're afraid of hurting somebody else? Is it because we just don't think that proper connection will be made in our dialogue? Or is it because we're scared? Is it all of the above? What's going on there?
Well, it could be, it could be a little of all of the above. But in the case of my parents, I know that, and they're in their 70s, they're not going to change their minds about anything. I know that they still love me, and they know that I love them. But there are just things that we're not going to agree on, and we both know that. So we just avoid those things, And unfortunately, those are like the most important things in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So.
What about the Waddies up there, Kevin and Leslie Waddy? What about your children? The ones that are still believers. Kevin, I think you and I have spoke about this before, and if I remember correctly, it's there's a good relationship, there. But maybe you can tell us more.
Well, since I'm public now, it's kind of a subject. But yeah, my older two are. My oldest is, pretty fundamentalist Baptist or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's totally sold out and probably thinks I'm crazy. My 21-year-old is evangelical, and she's like my
22.
22? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. She loves me. We're going to go to lunch this week, and we can talk about everything except for that.
Yeah.
They just would rather not talk about it.
If I could say, wouldn't you say she really doesn't want to know?
Yeah,
facts.
Yeah.
She's having a great time.
Yeah, she is. And when you have these, they have a community, they have friends, they have activities, they're living their life and they're loving their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say? But one thing I did want to say though is the one awkward moment I had was I've had a couple when my mom died a couple of years ago. And so after the burial, we went to dinner. We had a bunch of families, cousins, and aunts, and so forth, and kids.
And he had sung at the memorial service, and it was awesome. By the way, that was just a side note. But
I sang one of the favorite Christian songs that he likes. So
it was like his last time on stage, platform, whatever, at our old church.
Yeah,
it was just kind of interesting. It was an interesting moment though because he sang this big, huge song. It was a big song. It was great, and his heart was in it at that moment because we were sort of converting, but not really quite there yet.
Yeah.
So he could do it with full heart, knowing he was doing it for his mom.
Yeah, I didn't really believe a word of what I was singing, but it was appropriate for the moment, and it was appropriate for them and for my mom.
Yeah.
Right. And then afterwards, we went to dinner, and then my brother says, "Kevin, would you say grace?" So I had to stay. Am I going to say no?
With the whole family
right?
there.
Am I going to, Kevin, can you pray for them? So at that point, am I going to be the complete skeptic and say, no, I don't believe in this stuff? No, I didn't see the point. So I said the prayer, said the words that I was supposed to say. And I think I don't know. I don't want to be in that position again, but I think it was appropriate at the time.
And then a few months later, we had Thanksgiving here. And his brother and sister-in-law and the 4 kids were here. And it was that time where it was like, oh, we hadn't talked ahead of time about when that moment comes when no one's fork's moving because they're waiting for that, the kids all know, you got to say the prayer first. And so Kevin said, hey, Cliff, will you say the blessing? And Cliff was like, why are you asking me?
I said, you're the oldest. You said.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never had to navigate or negotiate through any of those experiences. Of course, I don't really live around family. I have my sons, and I do see my mother from time to time when she drives through to visit the boys. I would see me, but they come up here with their dedicated time to spend with the grandsons while I do my thing. But yep, I've never ran into those situations where I felt pressured, except for not to do anything. But the church that I used to go to is right down the street here. Even today, I was walking with my oldest son. We were going to go shoot some drone footage around the city, and you've seen some in the opening there, but that was from the other day. Shot some more today, and that church was out. They're all out on the street welcoming people in, and this is their typical routine.
Oh yeah, Sunday.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you know, one of them yells across the street at me because they can recognize me by my hair, you know, when I don't have my hoodie on, or you know, maybe they can just recognize me anyways. And this lady yells across the street, "Hey, just want to know we absolutely still love you," something like that, like paraphrased.
What?
Yeah. Wow. And this particular person is like very enthusiastic, you know, that sort of thing. So, you know, she's just one of those, you know, like out full on, you know, whatever. And I couldn't help but feeling in that moment, maybe right when I deconverted, I'd have been like, you know, I'm right there with you, thanks, guys. You know, I appreciate, and I would have returned the enthusiasm. But I find it much more difficult to do it now, because I feel like that's all coming from that platform. Like, it's not personal when you do it publicly in front of your whole church, and you know, because in this regard, it might be more of a demonstration or display. In a setting that you think is appropriate and therefore associated with it, in this case, church. And that's the thing that I don't entertain anymore. I don't pray, I don't bow my head when people pray. I just don't do that. I've been at a wedding recently. I didn't bow my head. Where else was I? I don't disrespect, I don't snark or anything like that. But I just don't participate anymore in any of that stuff. And I feel quite comfortable to do that presently. And after all, what you all have said here, you know, this is our way of engaging our communities. This is our way of being able to discuss. Oh my gosh, I hope I have this. Hold on, we're gonna see if I got this picture. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna overlay this real quick.
Okay.
Let's see if I can see it.
Bam! Look at that. I kept these pictures in my setup, but yeah. So you know, with these T-shirts and that sort of thing, just having them. And I'm gonna show the back. The back is way better than the front as far as logo design. The front is just whatever. But take a look at that.
That is such a great picture.
That's a great picture for two reasons.
Yeah.
Number one, they're attractive people, and then two, the logo.
All right, thank you.
And it says disenfranchising dogma, or as Bodhi says, disenfranchising dog mama.
Yeah. Brittany's son, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Arael, you know, Leslie and I talk about this a lot, but what we have in this country is a society where Christians can say whatever the heck they want to say.
Yeah.
They can say, you know, well, God gave us a great day today, or God's going to take care of you, or whatever the Christian thing is to say to anyone. They're just totally free with their the declarations of God.
You don't believe in God,
Jesus.
but He loves you anyway.
Right. But for some reason,
Whether you like it or not.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. For some reason, we atheists or non-theists feel like we can't speak our minds.
Yeah.
Like we think it's rude if someone says, you know, like a realtor would say, you know, well, God's going to give you the house of your dreams when
That's what we've been hearing this whole time.
You know, and it seems rude for us to say, no, God won't, because God doesn't exist. And things like that. You know?
As many times as I said, we're not superstitious. Hint, hint,
Yeah, we don't.
wink, wink.
Yeah, we don't
They didn't
believe in
catch
God
on.
stuff because things don't happen that way.
Yeah.
Right? You know, why do we feel like we should shut our mouths in situations like that?
I think it's because we know that culture is still strong, and if we present ourselves in the counter position, that is an argumentative position by, I'm going to say, inference from what their convictions are and how they share those convictions with the majority of probably the population in that community. So we know when we take a stand and we're like, no, not blue, but red. You've you've issued a challenge, and I think we understand that when we're like, no thanks, and they're like,
okay, so then there's a challenge. I'm going to challenge myself and you. If things are going to change, shouldn't we be more vocal? Or otherwise, how are things going to change?
Yeah, so there's the vocal part about it, and we've heard all our guests come on the show and basically say the same thing. To normalize any cultural movement, you've got to be able to talk about it, and to be able to talk about it, because sometimes you can't legally, right? I'm not speaking about actually talking, but sometimes you can't create that social or cultural change legally until you have the courage first. So you have the courage, and then you talk about it. And then you press the issues, and then you go to politics, right? Because this is where we start getting things like actual equal opportunity supported by the state or the government. So it takes that courage first. I don't think courage is something that I personally struggle with in my day-to-day activities. I was walking with a friend out in the mall the other day. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And it happens whenever she and I are walking together. In a very public, crowded space, somebody approaches and they talk to us about God. I don't know what it is about our appearance together, but then we get approached. And this person, hopefully they're watching the show right now, but they do the, hey, what's up? They break the ice real quick, and then they offer the God thing. And I feel quite comfortable saying, that's your thing. And then they'll ask about you. They're like, oh, what do you do? Well, I run a channel on YouTube called Fully Deconverted. And you see the kind of, the brick house just kind of like, right there. Like, what is
and I'm just going to guess. It's that kind of thing where like, wait, I didn't practice that one. What do I say to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The standard is, oh, I'm not a Christian, or the standard is, oh, I'm Catholic, or I'm this or that, or Mormon or whatever. What do you do with that one? No reference.
Yeah. Yep.
The atheist thing. Yeah. What do you do about that? That's true.
Especially an activist, because
the playbook.
Yeah, Kevin, I think maybe to your point is, when we hear somebody say that, we're all educated, we're all informed on 100 different things that they could say and the reasons why. This is public knowledge. This is called common knowledge. There's a term for this. It's common knowledge. Common knowledge is the thing that everybody knows, and they kind of abide by those rules, right? When we talk about social psychology. And then there's something called shared knowledge, a little bit different. Shared knowledge is when we can pretend like we don't know the rules, right? So I think we can pretend like we know, like if I just snuck a little bit of, I could give a really quick example, but it's like, it's crude and I don't want to give it.
Go for it.
But, okay. All right. So you're sitting on a bus, right? And there's 3 people. Now let's just make it easy in 2. And basically somebody farts, right?
Uh-huh.
Shared knowledge. You're both aware that there's a fart there. All right. So you so that's shared knowledge. All right.
Okay, got it.
But common knowledge only happens when the person sitting across from you goes like this. Yeah, that's right. You know I did that. So that's just really, really obvious. When it's really, really obvious and everybody knows the rules now, okay, John did it. All right, we all know John did it. He said John did it. John always does this. We know it's John. That's common knowledge. Shared knowledge is, it keeps happening over and over, but you can still pretend it wasn't you. Or you can pretend like you don't smell it because you don't have to confront the other person and say, hey, did you just... So those are the differences. Now, when the public interacts with theists, or in America, Christians, the common knowledge is this is normal. Mm-hmm. But when you're an atheist and you feel like being vocal about it, or you are confronted by an atheist, we're aware that atheists exist. Let's say we're all religious right now. All of us right now, we're all religious. And an atheist comes up, or we try to evangelize, and the atheist makes their case. We know that atheists exist, but we can kind of use that dynamic right there to leverage the conversation and act like we don't know what the hell they're talking about. And since we don't know what the hell they're talking about, we're not educated on it, it just doesn't make sense to us. So please let us tell you about Jesus a little bit more. You know, that sort of thing. So that can be a barrier for true engagement there. And the atheist, knowing that, knows that they have an uphill battle to go on. So sometimes we're afraid to go on that. Sometimes we'd rather decline or, decline the challenge. Or psychologically feel like there's adversity here, rather than feeling the freedom of person A, or the theist gets to present their position, and I get to present mine, and we stand on equal footing automatically. But we don't get that. We're down here.
Yeah, and I'm at my age, I have little patience for myself. If I'm going to be timid about it, you know, I don't want to be, boorish or rude or anything like that. But I'm done with being. What am I trying to say? I don't have a lot of time to fool around. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I want to be rational. I want to help spread rationality. What?
You're not that.
What'd you
old,
say?
Kevin.
Well, okay, I was.
Thank you.
Yeah, after my last birthday,
Kevin's like, I don't got too much time left over here.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 51. I am over that hill. So yeah, we're on the downslope.
Yeah. So I think I see what you're saying, and I think now that atheism, and probably largely due to social media and YouTube, is being more normalized, right? And I know some people don't like using the label atheist because they don't like to label themselves, and I get that. That's why we're fully deconverted. I like atheist because it can normalize the word, and people know that I'm an atheist, and they see me, and I'm still the same Kevin they knew 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll see, then
You're
atheist
just going to hell now.
Yeah, right. Then atheist is not that bad of a word, right? Now going to hell, see. But then there's the oh my gosh, as we move on weekly with these chats, Arael, and I don't know if you want to announce what we're going to be doing. I would like to do a chat every Sunday, an open chat talking about the topics of the week for anyone in the group, members, theists or atheists or other, and we can talk about these things.
Yeah.
But the more we talk about it, and like I'll take out of your playbook, the more we talk about the taboo, the better off we are, right?
Yeah.
Then it becomes not so taboo anymore.
Yeah. That's a great idea. And I could be wrong, but I think that's an idea that originated with you, right, Kevin? The Sunday talks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a wonderful idea. So
Maybe you stole it. Who knows? We're going to call it your idea right now.
And so if you're watching this video on YouTube and you want to be a part of these discussions, head over to our Facebook group because we get a lot of chat in that group, and it's great. I can just read through that stuff and become better at how I think about the issues that are being brought up. So head over to Facebook groups, Fully Deconverted. Find us there. You'll see our page there. It's not the same as the group. If you want the chats, go in there, and then maybe you'll be able to come on the show as a perk for being a member in the group on Sundays, because we want to have those conversations. All right, before we do anything else, Luann, listen to me.
I'm listening.
All right. I want your opinion about this video. If you did see it, then you can just say you've seen it. But we're going to play the video now, all right? Everybody, Stan Lee died, all right? And I did a tribute video to Stan Lee, all right? Now, but Luann, when we come back from this video, we need your opinion on this, okay?
Oh boy, okay.
All right, here we go, guys. We will be right back.
Okay, yeah, you get it. The costume isn't working out. It's too small, and that's what you get from ordering from China. Anyways, Stan Lee, thank you for the amazing legacy you've left behind with Marvel and all your comic book characters. Rest in peace. All right, Luann, don't even try to hide it. Don't even try to hide it, Luann, because I could see you while we were off of this. And when my pants ripped, I saw you go like this.
No fair. All I have to say is R.I.P. Stan Lee. We love you.
Oh my God. Why did you do that?
No, really, that was awesome. Was that your Halloween costume?
Yeah, that was my Halloween costume, but I didn't wear it because of what you've seen here. I'll just put this on overlay. We'll still be able to hear each other. Bam. All right. It was just too. Yeah, let me see if I can pause it. Look at this. It was too. That's our next logo right there.
I should have screenshotted it, darn it.
Oh my gosh,
Needless to say, I did not wear that out going trick-or-treating.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I would have been like, who's the X-rated dad over there? He's the family fit.
Yeah. Oh, when I was filming it from the front, I made sure to get it from my waist up. If not, I would have cropped it. It's too tight.
Right.
Yeah. That's
so funny. Oh man.
that was not happening on Halloween.
Okay. Dude, you talk about the scream laughter that you talk about. When I first saw that last week, dude, I was by myself. I was screaming.
That's what I was doing too, man. I asked my neighbor if she heard me screaming. I was doing that like 5 times that day.
Oh my gosh, that is a good one. If you're ever having a bad day, just watch that.
Exactly.
Hey, Arael, I don't want to get too serious and bring it down, but I wanted to make sure we get some things I wanted to talk about. Number one, we have so many people in the group that are like intellectual giants compared to me, you know? And I look up people like Dave Eaton and John Pavlakis and Andre. I forgot your last name, Andre.
Vodka. Nope, I said that wrong.
Vodka, yes. And even Stephen Pagano, who's a theist, who I really love his posts. I love his interaction. I love his humility. And Stephen, I would love to get you on a video chat so we can chat. And I know you want to. One of these days we'll make it happen. Hunter Bailey, I love his attitude. I love how he wants to converse. And he's not afraid of a challenge. So Hunter, you know, I'm looking forward to you being on some chats with us. Next week, dude, next Sunday, Hunter. But what I wanted to say was, I'm learning like you, Arael. You know, I may have, you know, a few more YouTube videos than you have, and I may know some more of the atheists that you know, but I'm still learning, and I learned from these people that I just named. So I would love to get in on a discussion with you guys, because this stuff is important. This is not side stuff. This is, you know, I guess it's real life.
Yeah, and I think I just realized something. Because we spent so much time, like, you know, basically in our home, in our bed at night, like, oh, did you see this video? Have you seen? And then we'd watch them together and all, you know, so it's just the two of us deconverting for months, years, really.
Yeah.
And then now he's like chomping at the bit to get in conversation with other people now, because we've been watching Arn Ra and all these other.
Yes, and there's a caveat to that, because deconverting dogma, and I think what we atheists, especially those of us who watch YouTube videos of all these guys like Matt Dillahunty, and eat up all of his stuff and Aaron Ra, well, then we can kind of fall into the trap of using their 2-year-old video as dogma, right? And forgetting that they evolved too. And were they right about what they said 2 years ago? Well, probably, maybe not. Maybe they were. I don't know. But it's an ongoing process. And these guys aren't, Matt's not the Pope of atheism, like you like to call him. He won't want to be called that, I'm sure.
Hey, you guys are going to see my video cut out here. I'm going to change the battery. I've been filming today, so I didn't fully charge my batteries. I'll still be able to hear you, and you should still be able to hear me. But when this goes blank, I'm just going to change out my battery, okay?
Okay, yeah. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is it's an ongoing process. And if we in the group can, especially in the context of Steve McCrae brought up this whole burden of proof for atheists.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of pushback from that. And that's good. I mean, skepticism is...
There was chatter for sure.
Chatter, yeah.
That's interesting.
And I don't want to fall into the dogma of atheism.
Right.
That let's talk about these things. Every one of these things that we're talking about. And
what was really refreshing about Steve and just the discussion that came about was that it does seem like there are so many of us, either in the chat rooms or as atheists, that find it just the easiest thing to say to a theist, prove it. And that ends the discussion because, that's, for the obvious reasons, and if that's the contribution that we're giving to the conversation, then I feel like we are being lazy. And I feel like we're kind of also being, we're just not giving our spectrum side of the community the service that we could be giving it. So if you guys didn't see the interview, what's that, Luann?
We're just shutting them down at that point.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we're shutting them down.
We're not allowing conversations with people like Hunter, who's striving to be rational, right? He wants to be a rational person, and if we don't have reasons for why we don't believe or reasons for our deconversion, then we're not being rational either, And it's very possible to be atheist, but not a rational atheist, and I don't want that either.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody head over to the Facebook group and join in on that. Join in on those discussions, and we'll be hosting these on Sundays as well. I'm surprised my battery is still lasting. I can see it flashing over here. Hey, let's go into the chat one more time over in the live feed. Heading over there. What are you guys talking about over here? BJ Price. How would you handle people who only talk about church life, especially if it is family? I asked about his photography, and the answer is pictures he took for church. It's all church. There might be some kind of context, a discussion going on right there. I do feel like we talked about that a little bit. How do we engage with our communities? But if that's all they talk about, Luann, let me go back over to you. If that's all somebody talks about, can we still have a conversation with them? How do we engage, or do we have to start setting boundaries? Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely still engage in that conversation, because if you're there for that person, and if that's where they are, and that's what their life is, then you engage in that with them on the level of what their life is and what's going on with them and what's important to them. You still care about that person, you still love that person, you don't stop loving them just because they don't believe the same things you believe. So you engage and you talk to them about what's going on in their lives. Absolutely.
Amen, sister.
So do you think it's really about like you said, getting them to talk about what's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to agree with what they're saying because it's not important to us.
No.
But in a conversation at that moment, maybe that's not, that's irrelevant. You know, it's important to them, so we can let them talk about that. I think sometimes for us, we might have a little PTSD with that kind of thing, especially if we're a recent convert, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say a minute ago, is it seems like sometimes the deconverted people forget where they once were not too long ago. And we don't forget. I don't know. I'm with Luann on that. You just talk to the person where they are. It's not about me trying to do anything. You're just listening to someone. And hey, I like that street epistemology idea without making it a label. I'm not talking to someone to do something to them, but just listening to someone. That's what I've done my whole life anyway. As a Christian, I did the same thing. So it's just listening to whatever's going on in that person's life at that time. And hey, if it gets them to maybe question their own beliefs and speak it out loud, you know, whatever they believe, that's great.
Maybe it's about,
I would have loved that.
Yeah, maybe it's about giving them, if they know that they're safe in talking to you,
yes,
that maybe they may have some question, you know, and they know you're a safe person, you're not going to blast them. Maybe they have questions that they just don't want to verbalize. You know?
So I've had conversations with people that were genuinely interested when I left the church. Just like maybe one or two that wanted to have a conversation with me and dive into it. Not just listen to me when I would talk about it, but was actively asking me questions. And I can think of one person in particular that did this over a couple of sessions. And in that setting, it fits. But I think even if people are cool with hanging out with us, because there's other people that are cool with hanging out with me, but we don't engage on that level. They don't engage me, and everybody knows what I do. Everybody knows what I do. But there's just no engagement there, and we still hang out or whatever like that. We don't press the issue, or I might, freely offer commentary, but nobody like pursues it as though it's a thing to pursue. So there's certainly a dynamic range of social interactions that I have. I want to make everybody aware of a comment that's over in the live feed right now. And let's just get our input on it. And then, all right, over in the live feed, Amarose Moon, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your handle correctly. Talking about the whole Steve thing, guys, where we're like burden of proof, atheists, and how do we add value to the conversation. And Amarose Moon said, just be an atheist. Stop with the nonsense of wishy-washy answers like, well, I'd believe if there was evidence, when we all know there'll never be evidence or figments of some ancient's imagination. All right, so we kind of get the picture of what's being talked about there. It's kind of like we all know the story, so why pretend like we don't? And what are our thoughts? Is that useful? Is that pragmatic? Is that what we should just go ahead and bite the bullet and just do and face the hard times ahead of us where we're struggling with our relationships and society at large until we forge our own? Or do we counter Amarose by saying that's not the point? What are your thoughts?
I have something to say, and I keep jumping in if you guys, whatever. But I think I almost 100% agree with her or him, whoever that is, or they or them or whatever.
The last name to it there is Moon, so we'll just call this person Moon.
Moon, I agree with Moon. And I think because we don't want to be rude, and I'm speaking for myself and probably a lot of us, we don't want, maybe we're insecure about our position, or we're insecure about our ability to rationally justify our position. We don't go to the strong atheist standpoint. I think we know that there's not going to be physical evidence. I think most of us know that, and but yet we're hesitant to say, no, God does not exist. Although I think I'm at the point now where I would say, no, God does not exist. And I think I can rationally justify that position. Although I'm even a little bit insecure that I can go against the strongest theist mind in that area.
Yeah.
But yeah, so stop messing around, sure. Now, I know moon probably doesn't mean we should be, loud,
harsh
rude,
about it.
harsh. I'm not reading that from the question. I'm reading that, okay, let's be real. Do we truly think, are we honest with ourselves? Do we really truly think that there might be evidence sometime, someday? And I don't think I can say that.
No, but it seems like from what I've heard, because I hadn't heard that until we joined this group, because we hadn't talked to anybody else in this area. And I was shocked when I saw those kinds of comments, like, oh, if there was evidence, I would follow that evidence. And I was like, no, it's not going to be there. It's pretty clear. But I think what maybe some of them are saying is, if there were evidence, I would accept that and follow that. So it's like saying I'm open-minded to the facts, rather than saying anything wishy-washy necessarily. Probably depends on the person.
True. Yeah.
So those are kind of easy scenarios, but Luann, let's go over to you because you were talking about your parents, and then we'll wind down the conversation. But Luann, would you apply that philosophy with your parents at their age?
That's a really hard one. I think, like I said before, I don't see the point in pushing the envelope with them, because I know they're not going to change, and I know that we have this difference of opinion, and they know it too. That they're not going to be informed on anything if I get in their face and say I'm an atheist, and Bush, I'm not really. I call myself an agnostic, but to them it's the same thing. It wouldn't be any different to say outright, I don't believe what you believe. I'm not going to pray, or whatever, to be really blatant about it. They already know that, So to be that blunt about it, I think would only be hurtful to them. Now there are times when there are people who might be in a different position, where you opening up to that person could make a difference. So you would have to take all of those individual cases and decide on the spot probably what to say or what to do.
So what I'm hearing from you, Luann, is we should act with discretion with how we present ourselves and why we present ourselves a certain way to certain people, and that we shouldn't just act on the principle of, well, this is, I don't want to say dogma, but this is the dogmatic part of our society where we say there never will be any evidence because as a consensus on our side of the fence, we've logically, we've got our foothold right here, and it's just not going to happen. So we're always just going to say it's not going to happen, or we're always going to press the issue with you, or we're always going to stand firm our ground. That sort of thing. What I'm hearing from you, Luann, is that we should consider our audience, essentially. Do I understand correctly?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Have a little with itness, and understand, how that's going to affect the people that you're dealing with. Yeah.
It sounds like you put the relationship above being right. The relationship you have with your parents.
Yes,
which I admire.
Yeah, my mom, like I said, my mom passed away a couple of years ago, and
we didn't tell her anything.
we were pretty much deconverted by the time she was near the end of her life. I saw no point. There was no point in, bursting her bubble about heaven. Right?
I mean, literally the day before she died, she was Amazing Grace, curled up in a bed with dementia. She was singing Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
let her
not
die
gonna,
in peace, you know? Yeah.
What's the harm at that point, you know? Let her.
No, at that point, you just hold her hand. Just hold her hand.
Exactly. We laid there on the bed with her and just kissed on her and, you know, just like we would have any other time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine really finding a reason to fight in any of those circumstances. I really can't. And I don't do it with some of my friends. In fact, like, I would love just to have a very cordial relationship with people like Westcott Loudon in our group, and we know some of the frustrations that come up with that, right? But
let's talk Westcott. Let's talk, man. Let's talk, bro.
Yeah, but you know, in our group, we know we can butt heads. We can fight the ideas and see who comes out on top, and that's an appropriate place for it. But if we're to think of the person aside from these places where that engagement is meant to occur, we might do well to imagine them as a person just like us at a time in our life where we could have been exactly where they were. Right. And the most of what we would want, even if we were wrong or the other person was wrong, is to know that at the end of it all, or even at the beginning of it, we're made confidently aware that they have familial affections to us, at least as human to human. And I suspect that's what most of us really want. Like, we value the conversation and we value disenfranchising dogma in all these areas. You know, and our group isn't about loving community. It is about scrutinizing ideas. But I'm more confident in knowing all of you here and everybody else that's a part of the Fully Deconverted team, that we have a heart for people. From what I've seen them write, even in the articles, you know, a lot of that stems from the actual affections that are being had towards people, even though those are some powerful articles. And in some sense, there's some aggression there. But anyways.
Arael, we, just so everybody knows, the moderators are very, our value is to disenfranchise dogma, to scrutinize ideas, and strongly and harshly sometimes. However, we will not we have zero tolerance for attacks, personal attacks. Yeah. And so I know there are some of us who are very sensitive that we just deconverted, or maybe we just converted or whatever, and we're sensitive. And some people are more sensitive than others.
Oh, different personalities.
So, we
more aggressive than others. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We want this to be a place, a safe place. And I hate to use that word because it triggers me sometimes. But a safe place to where ideas can be scrutinized, but everybody can feel safe to put their ideas out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
They won't get pounced on.
And at the same time, at the same time, if you're too sensitive to your ideas being scrutinized, then maybe this place is not for you. Because
We've seen that.
That's the value of the group.
Yeah, maybe the children play too hard on this playground. Yeah.
Right.
Things get real.
Things get real. And that nobody even Arael is a fair game for scrutinizing, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a member of a lot of groups that are just not our own and other theist groups, I have been scrutinized. For sure.
Right.
Well, that was my first interaction with you.
Was it?
Yeah.
In what? In another group?
No, this one.
Okay.
But my first thing was like, it's a little harsh or whatever. Yeah.
Oh.
Leslie, I remember that. I think I remember that, which is saying a lot because I have a really bad memory. But I think I remember that. Yeah.
Because I'm all about like relationship and anyway.
Yeah.
You made an impression. Wow.
All right, guys, we're gonna wind this down. I'm gonna go over and say goodbye to our live guests. Moon, thank you very much for your comments and for that challenge that we took from your comment in our discussion here. So thank you, Moon, for presenting that. Thank you, Eric Yamal, for talking over there too and engaging with that content. Nice to see you there. Beach Price, Nick Thomas, sorry we couldn't have you on, man, but we will get you on. Pax a Ball. Antisocial Atheist, thank you for being here. So sweet. For a Love of, that's a nice name.
alias fake name, you as well. Thanks everybody for coming onto the live feed and joining with us. We will very soon be putting out a premiere for Richard Carrier. Premiere is a new YouTube feature.
Yay.
So we will be airing that premiere, and then we'll launch our series. So there is more to come on that. Stand by for that. And with that, and everybody, you don't need to stay on the line. We'll just go back into the Facebook chat because I know we've gone over time here. But everybody go ahead and say your goodbyes. Let's do it in reverse order, starting with Luann.
Thanks for being together. This has been awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, looking forward to hearing from more of you guys. Sorry, that was on there.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Zach Gumpfer. Fabulous posts. Love your writing, dude. And Nick, yeah, right. And then Nick, you're a master marketer and promoter. So thank you for that.
Superpowers.
Right. And so thanks everybody. I learned from everyone in the group. Keep it up and keep challenging us. And then see us next Sunday, probably about the same time. So look for any kind of announcement about our live chat. Anyone's welcome.
There you go. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm grateful that everybody in the audience got to see part of our team here, and hopefully you'll be seeing more of them in the future. Thanks guys. See you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I didn't expect